Welcome to the Deucecast Extra. We are here eager to talk about the third episode of Wandavision, which actually has a title. Now in Color is the title of the episode.
The title. There, yes.
And so after we recorded last week, they did title episode 1 and 2. They titled episode 1 Filmed Before a Live Studio Audience, and episode 2 Don't Touch That Dial. So they are finally, titling the episode. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah, they should have distributed the titles a bit sooner. But
yeah, well, you can't.
There may be some clues they're trying to keep veiled.
Maybe.
Oh, sure. Yeah, a lot of times episode titles will
probably, but
yeah, probably.
In Color doesn't tell you much, though, right? Or whatever it is. Now in Color. I mean,
as we have gone through the first 3 episodes, we're going by decade here, so we are in the set square in the 70s,
early in the 70s.
Yeah,
and
early 70s.
As our as our heroes begin, we are starting with a pregnant Wanda, and she has got a
It was on an accelerated.
yeah. Her doctor's coming to check on her. And
her doctor's coming to check on her with that great suit.
She's 4 months pregnant after 12 hours.
After 12 hours, yeah.
Yeah.
So there's some surprising vibes there. One thing I think we failed to mention last week is how the house is changing each time also.
Yes.
So that's a cool little thing that they're doing, sort of changing the set for the time that we're in.
Yeah, that's literally the first note I put.
Yeah. Brady Bunch.
Oh, totally. Yeah, very much Brady Bunch. I was really hoping for a Brady Bunch reference where a ball hits somebody in the nose or the eye and makes them swell up. I would have loved something like that. That's one thing they're not doing like too much is direct references to things. It just sort of, has the overall 70s vibe. We have, we've got David in the chat. The theme music. Oh my gosh.
Yeah, well,
it was great. Yeah,
they hired the writers of the Frozen music to write every theme song for every episode.
Oh, I thought it was just for the first episode. So all 3.
I'm pretty sure they wrote all the episodes, and I'm pretty sure they're going to change most episodes, at least when we're in the sitcom format.
Yeah. And unfortunately, Rhett's in the chat. So just guard your hearts. Rhett is in the chat. So, Roth, what's up? Thanks for joining, man. We've got a good crew here tonight. So, takeaways from this episode, Ryfen, what did you dig?
I dug the 70s vibe. It was cool to see the twins, which I know is a slight reference to the comics. I have committed to reading House of M soon and some other comics.
Wow.
So I can get more in touch with the story. But overall, I think by the end of it, I was a tiny bit frustrated just because I want more. And I want to know more of what's going on. That's kind of my takeaway from this week.
Well, you made some really good points in our pre-show chat. Sorry, that's for Patreon members only, which we don't have a Patreon. So nobody
you guys did a pre-show chat?
Yeah, there was a pre-chat. You show up so late, Earl. You never get to have the pre-chat.
This thing starts at 9:30, doesn't it?
I sent you the link at 9.
I'm doing work. I don't have time to sit here. I'm answering emails like crazy, trying to.
Earl's way more important than Garrison and I.
Yes.
But patience.
Before the show, though, I was telling him something that I was telling Dad is that when this show is all over, we're gonna look back at these first 3 episodes and think that the setup is just brilliant. We're gonna think this is a brilliant show, most likely. Right now, I'm just a little bit like, God, just give me more. I want to know what's going on.
It's slow.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it is slow, but man, the moments in this episode were great. Just it felt like one thing I was telling Garrison in the pre-show is that this show feels a bit like Lost, just in the sense this episode got into more of dramatic moments, really with all the characters. Catherine Hahn's character and the neighbor next door had some kind of dramatic, serious.
Herb.
Yeah, Superb Herb had some sort of dramatic, serious moments out front because the thing that I'm getting from it is that they know they're trapped
Yes.
in this environment,
Yeah.
whatever it may be.
It also made me think maybe Catherine Hahn isn't a bad guy, which I know some people have speculated here or there.
Yeah,
So,
I'm not getting that vibe any longer.
Yeah, or well, maybe. So,
There's a lot-
so do
there's
we
a lot
think
of
there's
episodes
more
left.
people trapped, and who's trapping them?
Well, I mean,
Is Wanda-
the vibe that I'm getting is that Wanda has trapped
Trapped.
all of these people. And obviously Vision's the only one that's not quite sure what's going on because he's questioning everything at this point.
right.
You know,
If he's even there.
right.
yeah,
I mean,
that's that. Yeah, I'll concede that he has questioned a lot, but is it Vision or is Vision there? Is that the problem? Is if it's a construct of her mind, he wouldn't question things so much. I would think.
right.
So I don't know. There's someone has to be there.
So, and a couple of moments that Wanda has had in the last episode and this episode is she has changed almost like the timeline. Like when she saw the beekeeper, she said no.
Yes.
Audibly.
Right.
Know, when Vision started asking her questions in this episode,
he's like, something's not right here.
Yeah.
She reversed the time back. So,
Yeah.
and then he came and said something completely different. I'm assuming it's her that's doing all that. I mean, she is very powerful to the point that we haven't really seen yet.
I think she's the one who was choking that guy at the end of the first episode.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I don't think he was choking.
Some people think that she looked and made it happen.
Yeah. I think so there's some dark things going on. Obviously, we saw this episode, a bit more of that. Which I did like.
There was a turn. Well, I don't know if we want to go that far into the episode.
No, we can. No, we're just sort
of.
you
guys have already talked about the whole episode like for 30 minutes before I showed up, apparently. So
we have, yeah. We had
probably discussed everything I was going to. So I love, to be honest with you, I love the acting of Elizabeth Olsen and Bettany through this whole thing. I did not think Elizabeth Olsen had this range where she could make all these comedic faces, and you know what I'm saying, like
yeah.
I'm just happy that they get to sort of, because, they were kind of secondary characters through all these movies in a way. Obviously Vision had his moment in Ultron, but
yeah.
But I feel like this is their moment to shine and just to show their range. And, if you think about Paul Bettany, he just started as a voice, right? As Jarvis.
Yeah.
For several movies. And now he's getting this really great opportunity. So, and then just the coloration. So I grew up on the Brady Bunch. I lived in the 70s, and just everything about that is just.
Yeah, I think Rhett said something about the primary colors. Maybe that's nothing. I mean, there's a lot going on there, though. I mean, with the colors that they're using, I think. I don't know.
It was very much colored they very much color timed it to look like a 70s show. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
I'm just ignoring the chat because I can't.
No, you're fine. No. I'm paying attention ancillarily. I mean, I'm trying to catch stuff as it comes, but David's saying dumb stuff, so I'm not really gonna. So yeah. I mean, if we're going chronologically through the episode, it was interesting that Vision did not hesitate to use his power.
He used his powers a lot
in this episode, right? I mean, and didn't. The doctor was sort of like, we were going really fast. I mean, and that's basically all, he said.
He's headed to the Bahamas or whatever.
Yeah, headed to.
Bermuda.
You know what I wished it was Bermuda. I had wished that he had said Tahiti, just as like a little Easter egg for Agents of
S.H.I.E.L.D. That would have been nice.
I'm like, why not go there? I mean, I thought that would have been a funny thing to do.
Almost a very depressing moment in the show when you realize that he can't go on vacation, because at first you're like, okay, the doctor's going on vacation, then you're like, oh yeah, he can't,
right?
No one can leave.
Nobody.
By the way, one of the best parts on my second watch is just the 70s idea of having babies for a TV show.
Yeah,
like Monica pulls up the first baby and it's all wrapped up already. You know, it's just like, oh, look, it's your baby. And the crowd's like, oh, you know.
Yeah. No, totally.
It's got some sort of classic, like, well, anyway.
And then I thought it was interesting. So we mentioned that it seems as if Wanda is able to control some things, but for whatever reason, she couldn't control the bird, the stork. Yeah. She kept trying to make the stork disappear and it wouldn't. And I found that to be sort of different from the other things that she had been able to do.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure
a lot
now.
of theories about what the stork is, if maybe it's a villain, that kind of thing.
I mean, I think we are going to get a villain at some point in this thing, obviously, but I'm wondering if Sword has trapped. Obviously, this is, I mean, because we see at the end of the episode the huge lights and this sort of like force field looking thing. So they're trapping these people in there, and maybe they're having to do that because the villain's also trapped in there as well, and they don't want the villain to get out. I don't know. I mean, it seems interesting. Like I was thinking from the beginning of the show that this was going to be like an alternate reality, but it seems more grounded than that. It seems like we've got Sword outside, or the FBI, or whatever organization this is.
I think a few working together.
Yeah. I mean, a couple organizations working together, and they're utilizing some type of force field or whatever.
I think the force field is Wanda's.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she did control throwing.
I mean, she threw Monica out.
Monica Rambeau out.
Geraldine.
So, I've heard two theories. One is that Wanda is like, they're scared that Wanda is going to have this breakdown and cause a lot of change in reality. Ooh.
No, keep
I don't
going.
know about this, the high evolutionary.
Yeah, I'm not sure what that.
I'm not sure what that means.
Yeah, see, none of us are Marvel people, Marvel comic people. So I don't know what the high evolutionary is.
I've heard that the high evolutionary will be in Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, but maybe
Volume 3.
I don't know.
Interesting thought. So my thing, I know Wanda can change reality and warp reality, and I was wondering if S.H.I.E.L.D. has put her in this situation. But that wouldn't make sense though, because Randall Park, apparently his voice was heard in episode 2 saying, "Wanda, who's doing this to you?"
Mm-hmm.
Right through the radio. So y'all know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. No, totally.
I know y'all are reading the chat, but Wanda,
I know exactly what you're talking about.
So,
they don't know what's going on inside there. I don't think. I think they think Wanda's trapped, and I think Wanda has more control over this situation.
And Monica Rambeau.
But I do think
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say I do think there's a villain in there who may be moving Wanda into a darker place. But
yeah,
it's the guy with the mustache.
Who I love, by the way. That's almost like my favorite character.
I love the cut to him when the power went out after she had to fake.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, God, or something. What did he say?
She was like, "Do these earrings make me look big? Make me look fat?" Power goes out. I mean, talk about somebody that outkicked his coverage, by the way, with his wife. I mean,
yes.
That's the classic, like, also sitcom trope where you've got the
that's
husband.
it. Rhett's got it. Oh, thank God. Yeah.
Where you have the husband who has a supremely hotter wife, and it is inexplicable how that happened. That's another sitcom trope.
Schwimmer's mustachioed brother. I don't know who that guy is, but
it looks just like Schwimmer, though. I mean, that's
not him. But
that's another thing I was talking to Garrison about in the pre-show is that they have done a really good job of casting all of these people who you kind of think you recognize, but they're not really anybody. Maybe you've seen them as an extra in something or whatever, but they're not really people that you are actually big actors or whatever that you would recognize. So I think they've done a great job in casting everybody around Wanda because they all fit that sitcom trope so well. And a lot of that's costume and hair and whatnot, but it still like Herb looked great in this episode. But yeah, the interesting thing with these characters that either know that they're trapped or have figured it out is they're trying to disrupt the universe a bit.
Yeah.
So with Herb cutting through the wall when he was supposed to be cutting, the bushes or whatever,
shrubs,
the shrubs. So he was trying to get Vision's attention, right? And I thought that was
interesting.
Interesting.
No, no, Jacob. Yeah, this is. I like that point that they're trying to disrupt things. I thought it was just Herb didn't know what he was doing, and maybe Wanda was going crazy, and it just threw him into a crazy. I don't know. He just didn't know what he was doing. Yeah,
I don't know.
That's actually no. That's a better point.
I just got the feeling that they really want Vision, especially away from while he's away from Wanda, to figure out, hey, there's something going on, and Catherine Hahn's character very afraid to go too far though.
But it is interesting when Catherine Hahn's character has that newspaper. It says 2 fire hydrants added on Main Street. I think when she folds it says 2 fire Hydra. That could just be a little Easter egg, but we've seen a lot of Hydra references in this show.
Yeah,
the Hydra scope.
Yeah,
I know
that Hydra, deals with obviously Wanda comes from Baron von Strucker. But maybe are they involved in some way? That's got me wondering. But maybe it's just Easter eggs.
Yeah, I mean, and like Brian
said, she's got no home.
Yeah, Geraldine has no home, and they keep telling
no family,
Vision that.
No kids.
They even audibly told Vision that she's got got no home and that she doesn't belong here. Just a lot of references to the fact that she just got here, she doesn't belong here, she has no home. It's very, very interesting.
I feel like there's going to be an episode coming up, where there's going to be a story. The whole story is going to be told from Monica's viewpoint, and this whole thing's going to. Now, maybe I'm wrong, but I mean, looking at this whole field, and doesn't she have some special powers, Monica Rambeau? I don't know her.
She's a Captain Marvel. She's had a title. She's like a million different titles, I think, but she's been a Captain Marvel.
Does she have like superhero powers at some point?
She was
in the comics. She does, at some point.
So she seems like the only one able to get into this world, maybe.
Well, they did have that beekeeper who was that's true. Sword logo on his back, but she's the best. She was the best at infiltrating so far.
Yeah, so I mean, they have found ways in, and that's the thing. I mean, either agents of Sword or FBI or whatever, they have found ways into this universe, like coming through, the sewer or however
radio,
however Geraldine, breaking in through the radio, trying to. It's all like, to me, they're just trying to disrupt what's going on to either make Wanda snap out of whatever she's doing, or help her recognize that she is, trapped in this place unwillingly, and that whomever the bad guy is, whether it be Grim Reaper or,
that's true. We did see that little Grim Reaper,
helmet.
Right. There's been like little hints here and there about who the villain could be. Now, again, they might just be trying to throw the viewer off.
Yeah, I think the villain is manipulating Wanda. I think that's very much the case. Yeah.
I mean, making her shape her reality.
I do think Wanda is going to be a villain. But I think the villain is, to an extent, because she's clearly got this darkness happening with her right now. I mean, her throwing Monica out.
Yeah. Don't pay attention to Rhett, Earl. Just don't even pay attention to him.
I'm smiling. I'll go join him for my dinner with Andre discussion. Yes.
So one thing that I thought was kind of interesting is Geraldine had, for whatever reason, for somebody trying to infiltrate an area,
she's got a sword pinned.
She's wearing a sword necklace that immediately sort of Wanda hones in on, asks her, why are you wearing that? And I thought that was interesting, and again, it may just be trying to disrupt the situation. I mean, trying to snap her out of whatever's going on. That's why she mentioned, Pietro getting killed by Ultron.
Yeah.
Trying to snap that. I mean, that's another thing we saw, sort of a melancholy Wanda reminiscing about Pietro's death.
And after that, she started to get a little bit of her Sokovian accent back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really.
She sang that song to the babies.
She sang the song to the babies. Yeah.
Or whatever.
Little Billy.
Slavic language.
Tommy and Billy.
Little Tommy and Billy.
Yeah.
Wiccan and Speedster. Is that
Wiccan and Speed?
Yeah.
Speed. I thought it was Speedster.
Those are the names in the comics. I don't know them that well. I just heard their names this summer in prep for the show.
I think they're part of the Young Avenger.
They are. Yeah. I mean, they're.
So are the babies real? That's the better question.
Yeah, it's the Young Avengers. Yeah,
I've heard some, like, I'm not a Marvel comic expert. I've heard some things like Mephisto, as Dave brought up in the chat, when they had twins at one point, like they were demons from Mephisto or something. They weren't real. But they've also had real children, I think. I don't know, but
well, she conjured. Isn't there some story? There's like several stories of their birth. Like that's just comics in general. There's a million different origin stories for everything.
Well, I mean, if they're going to continue to age at the rate that they were aging in her womb, by the time we get to the next episode, which is
season 8, they may be 20.
By the next episode, they're going to be, like 7 or 8, like kids in the 80s.
I think we saw them in their cribs in the trailer throwing binkies out of their mouths. So I think they'll still be babies, but probably kids by the end. I would be one about their kids by the end.
So were they walking them? The scene with like the Vision dressed up as the Vision doing trick or treating.
Yeah, that's going to be
the children. They might have been. Huh?
Yeah, they might have been. That's not the next episode. That's episode 5, I think, is when we're going to get to see that, and that's going to be the 90s. And then again in the pre-show, I don't think that they're going to go beyond the 90s. I think that the episodes start to be
they got to figure this out.
More plot driven.
No, I like your idea, Mikey. Do an Office episode of one.
Oh well, yeah. If they do in the 2000s, do an Office-esque episode would be hilarious.
That would be awesome.
I would love that, but I don't know if they're actually going to do that. There was, so Wanda had a moment of, why did you say that name, Martha? When she said Ultron's name, there was that particular moment, and I thought that was, hey, what's up, Charlie? Haven't seen Charlie in here before. Welcome. Sir. No, he's definitely part of the Discord. I've seen him in there, so it's cool. Thanks for coming to hang out, Charlie. But yeah, she didn't like the word Ultron uttered. I mean, at all.
Yeah, or mentions of her dead brother.
Yeah.
I mean, that's trauma as well.
Did you also feel like Geraldine had to conjure up that memory too? Like she's like, wait a minute, your brother, like almost like she was having to break out of some kind of haze too. Did y'all get that feeling? Like watching it the second time, it seemed like she was like, wait a minute, your brother.
You talk about Geraldine?
Yeah, well,
I think she just started to kind of play. I think she started to play coy, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I mean,
y'all should go back and watch that scene again, because
I didn't finish my second watch, so yeah, I'll go back.
Because she goes, I'm a twin, and like Wanda says that, and then all of a sudden Monica goes, wait a minute, your brother, and it's like all of a sudden Monica Geraldine or whatever she is.
Yeah, it dawned on her. Yeah,
and she starts breaking out of her character.
Yeah, it could be that all of these people are in a bit of a haze, and they're slowly coming to the realization that there's something not quite right. That's maybe why it's taken to the 3rd episode for Agnes and Herb to sort of like figure out, wait a minute, this is a weird situation that we're in here. Let's try and disrupt it by getting Vision's attention somehow. Yeah, I mean, or like Rhett says here, she was in character and then started to slip back into reality, and then either Wanda slipped her back into character, or I mean, that's what
Wanda booted her out of the.
Like, we don't know if Wanda's the one that is putting these people back into character when she feels like there's something not quite right, like she did with Vision earlier in the episode.
I think Wanda ejected her.
Yeah, but she did slip back into character right before she got ejected, though. I mean, I don't think that. I think she, because they started having a kind of a normal conversation again. Because she said, "I didn't say." She said, "I didn't say anything." Yeah, and then Wanda was done with her at that point.
You gotta leave.
but the same thing happened with kind of Vision. I mean, it's either Wanda putting these people back into their character that they're supposed to be in, or the villain. I mean, it could be the villain doing it.
Yeah, that's interesting because she didn't rewind Monica Rambeau like she probably could have.
No.
So she just threw her out. I guess because she doesn't have a house. But yeah, that's interesting.
Yeah.
It's going to be interesting to see where they take some of these plot threads because I feel like Monica's going to get back in.
Yeah, I don't think. I mean, to answer Brian's question, I don't know that Vision's alive at all. I think that he's just a manifestation of either Wanda or the villain. I mean,
unless Sword rebuilt him somehow.
Yeah, I mean, I suppose that could happen with tech. I mean, they could have rebuilt him. I don't know. Yeah, Rhett makes a good point. I mean, they spent a lot of time in Infinity War trying to save Vision and map out his personality. Yeah, I mean, he could come back.
Oh, I think Vision's back. I do, because Wanda's going to continue on into at least Doctor Strange 2. Maybe we don't get the resolution of all that until then. Which, wow, that would be a long way away.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Vision will be back.
Yeah,
they're going to find some way. Maybe Shuri or Peter or someone comes up with some tech or.
Did the stones get destroyed? I'm trying to think back.
Yes, the stones were destroyed by Thanos.
Yeah,
that's why they had to go back in time to get the stones from the past, use them, and then bring them back.
Mm-hmm.
That's right. He went back. Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah, that's what a lot of people think, that the series, if Chris Evans is going to come back as Captain America, that the series that they could do on Disney Plus would be him going and destroying all the stones.
Or bringing the stones back.
Or bringing bringing the stones back, right. So.
Yeah, Dave's correct.
Dave's got it right there.
Yep. Yeah, this is right. Yeah, he used the stones to destroy the stone, but it almost killed him. Yeah.
They were reduced to atoms.
So, yeah, and yes, Red, it barely MCU.
my problem with the MCU is there's been so much of it. I only watch these movies like once or twice at the most. I don't go back and watch them very often. Now, I probably need to do a rewatch at some point.
You need to rewatch Ultron just to catch some.
Yeah. And did you love that after the episode was over, how they said, if you're interested in this, you should watch Age of Ultron?
Yes. Well, that's what I did. I was like, click.
Yeah, exactly. Wow. You're like, I need to watch that.
There's a whole. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was just saying there's a whole story that Pietro talks about, like how their house blew up and there was a Stark bomb that they looked at for 2 days or something that was looking at them that didn't blow up, but it had killed their parents, and how they hated Tony. So I had forgotten that whole part of it.
There's so much of all those movies that I'm sure will be important to all of these shows that I need to go back and watch bits and pieces of, at least. What were you going to say, Garrison?
I'm not the first one to point this out, but there was a behind-the-scenes little featurette they put out for WandaVision at a certain point, and blurred out in the background, they had a bunch of the characters in the background. Blurred out in the background was a character of Wonder Man, who is a Marvel character. He's an Avenger, so he may potentially show up.
Isn't he like a brother?
He is related to Vision in some way in the comics. Yes. So potential for that. Yeah. Just something to jot down for the audience at home and you guys. So,
Wonder Man.
Potential of Wonder Man.
Well, I've also heard casting rumors. Now, I have no idea if this is true, so it's probably not.
Did you get it from Mike Zero?
Yes. Now, there's a theory Nathan Fillion will be playing Wonder Man.
Nathan Fillion?
We heard it here first, folks. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know where I heard it.
Guess who it won't ever be? Armie Hammer. It'll never. Armie Hammer's done. It'll never be Armie Hammer. There was some really bad stuff.
Kevin Spacey, maybe? Will it be Kevin Spacey?
No.
Just kidding. Oh wait, David's bringing up a good point. So he's our House of M.
Oh yeah, David knows all about the House of M stuff. Wonder Man plays a part in House of M. Oh, okay, yeah. So, are you saying like in this series he's going to show up?
I think so.
Oh wow.
I mean, he's with all the other characters who are most of which we've seen, and there's some others in the background. I guess we can't see. Yeah, I very much think he's Weinstein.
That's only if Armie Hammer or Kevin Spacey are in it. Weinstein is producing. Gosh.
I really did. Oh, whatever. I'm not going to get into that.
No.
I didn't think those Armie Hammer texts were real at first.
Dude, the stuff that I saw today that came out about him was good gracious.
Yeah.
Poor guy.
I don't know about all this.
He's obviously got some issues. Poor guy.
Yeah, he's texting girls telling them he's a cannibal. That's pretty much.
Oh no, there was something more that came out today.
Oh, nice. I probably don't want to know.
The woman that he left his wife for. Sorry. Okay, we don't need to go
back to WandaVision.
Yeah.
Well, that's the best logical choice, Rhett.
Yeah,
he is a great director.
No, I like. Yeah, Nathan Fillion is a fun choice. I think that'd be cool to have him in the show. I mean, he's a guy that that people love to see and stuff. I mean, I even watched some of his procedural, hour-long CBS show that he had just because I just like him, as an actor, and he's really fun. So I would love to see him in the MCU. I think that'd be cool. It's always amazes me that they always find people to be in the MCU that you never thought you would want to see in the MCU. Like Owen Wilson is going to be in,
yes.
And I'm like, that's awesome. I didn't know.
Wilson.
Yeah,
he's in a Loki show. Yeah,
he's in the Loki show.
He's in the trailer.
And there's another actor.
I actually read from a friend who follows all these leak things that Shia LaBeouf may have been getting considered for a comic book movie, and then all that stuff happened, and that's not happening. No, it was they were going to bring him back for Transformers potentially, and then all that stuff happened.
Oh yeah, and then everything happened with him.
I heard Ezra Bridger. I heard he was going to be Ezra Bridger at one time.
Ezra Bridger.
Seriously.
Oh my gosh. Oh yeah, I would like to see that too. I don't know what good part but Liam Neeson would be awesome in the MCU. I'd love me some Liam Neeson.
MCU version of Taken.
MCU version of Taken. All right, what did we miss before we wrap up? I know you took notes, Garrison.
I didn't take full notes on the episode, but yeah, I think we covered most of the bases I wanted to hit.
My only base is that I've never seen what a live stork. Like, to see that stork was, I don't know, they were creepy looking animals. Like,
no, that was CG anyways.
I mean, I know it's CG, but they were fashioning it after. I mean, a stork is a true creature, right?
Oh, I know, but I thought you. Never mind.
I'm not saying a stork delivers babies. Don't hear me say that. I'm just saying, as it walked about, I was like, "Gosh, that's what a stork looks like." I guess I've just never thought of that.
Yeah, they are.
These were just the late musings of Superb Herb.
They are weird-looking animals that apparently Wanda has no control over.
Yes. That is very interesting. Yeah,
it was.
Really I thought maybe it was a guy who just. I thought maybe it was a stork that had broken her bubble and like had just somehow gotten into her world. But when he wasn't able to disappear, I was like, oh, there's something else there.
Yeah,
when he kind of does the pose and then he's like, he's like looking around a little bit.
Yeah.
It's very sentient stork, very almost human-like.
It was too much of an intelligent stork.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's going to do it then for Now in Color, episode 3. So we will certainly be back next week for episode 4, whatever its title will be. But it's set in the 80s. If you've seen some of the stills, and this is where if I paid for StreamYard, I could show you some cool stills from the episode where Wanda has really big 80s hair that looks like Meg from Married with Children. So there's going to be some great 80s moments. Yeah. What up, Sean? Hanging out. Sean watches WandaVision. That's awesome.
Wow.
So unless you guys have anything else.
Best producer.
I know, right? We are going to end the episode for the week. Please check out thedeucecast.com. That is where all of our podcast episodes, our movie-centric podcast, we release them every Wednesday. I think this Wednesday we are releasing a fun episode with Jeremy Burgess. So those of you that know that name, we'll look forward to hearing him on the show this coming Wednesday. We had a really good time with him. And then next week, I think we're going to be doing, well, I won't say what we're going to do. We'll wait. We will tease that the next episode will also be fun as well. So anyways, thank you so much for checking out the Deucecast Extra. And thank you again each week, Garrison, for joining us.
Well, thank you for having me.
And Dr. Earl, thank you for joining us. Superb Herb, thank you for joining us as well. So we will catch you all next week for WandaVision episode 4.